Hello there and welcome to Luminar NEO Academy, the show where we teach you how to get the most out of this photo editing application. Now, if you've never been here before, my name is Jakub and I'm a creator and founder here at Clever Photographer. Now, before we're going to start, I have a few things I want to cover. First of all, at the end of the video, we're going to give you access to our popular Luminar NEO shortcut cheat sheet. So if you want to get that, make sure you stay until the end. Also, if you want to follow me along and do the edit on your own computer, make sure that you jump into the description, click on the link there and download the sample files. Also, if you do not own Luminar NEO, make sure you use the link in the description together with the discount code so you can get the best deal on your new purchase. And finally, we would like to ask you to please like, comment and share on this video. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel so we can keep creating content like this. In today's video tutorial, I'm gonna show you 3 ways of how you can edit your images from Queen's Jubilee. Now, as you probably know, we are celebrating Platinum's Jubilee of the Queen here in United Kingdom. If you've been in UK over the past few weeks, or if you are in UK, you would notice all the different decorations and flags. Now, if you're lucky, you maybe get some nice images, but most likely you will see something more like this. Of course, the country is very busy now, and you really need to bring lots of patience to get some nice shots. However, if you brought the patience over and you capture some nice images, which would be more like something like this, or even this, or even this, then I have 3 ways of how you can edit them and make them a little more special so they can last in your own gallery. So here we are back in Luminar NEO and in our catalog module. First come first, let's get rid of the images we're not gonna need. So we select one and then we hold Command or Control on our keyboard and select the other ones. After that, we can just drag and drop them into trash. That leaves us with 5 more images and those are the ones we're going to edit. Now this is a good time to remind you that if you want to follow me along and do the edit on your own computer, head to the description of this video and follow the link there. After that, you can download 5 of these images, plus today's episode also get additional 4 free Jubilee presets and 1 LUT. Now the LUT we're gonna need for the edit, so make sure that you download it. The first image we're gonna be working on is the Queen. So we're gonna select the image and then we move into our presets module. Here in the presets module, you can see we already have 4 of the Jubilee presets here ready to be used. Now, I hope you have them installed already. And if you don't know how to do that, I will show you at the end of this video. So moving back to our image, what we want to do here, we want to apply a lovely vintage cinematic look to it. So how it's going to look, let's just click on the CP Jubilee 01 and that will quickly create us the look we're going to be going for. This look creates lovely vintage cinematic feel while keeping the skin tones nice and natural. So this is what we're gonna do. Now the effect is a little bit complicated. However, trust me on this, it's really worth the effort. So from here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go down into our actions and click on the revert to original. That will reset the image. And from here, we're gonna jump into our edit module. And that's where we're gonna do all the editing. As I mentioned earlier, this look is a little bit complicated. So in order for us to make it a little bit easier, we're gonna pick the tools we're going to use and add them to our favorite section. So how are we gonna do this? First, we're gonna use the develop tool. So we're gonna right click on it and click on add to favorites. Then we're gonna use the landscape tool. So again, we right click on it and click on add to favorites. After that, we're gonna use the structure tool. Again, same thing. We're gonna use the color tool. We're going to use the matte tool and we're going to use the mood tool. So now we know that we're going to use all these tools here and we don't need to worry about the rest of our toolbar. The next thing we need to do is to add our LUT into our mood tool. So for that, we need to go into our mood, click on this little arrow to open it, and then click on our drop-down box called choose LUT. Here we need to click on the add custom LUT file and that will open a new window. Now what you need to do is you need to locate the download with the sample files, where are all the pictures. There you need to go in a folder called tools and then LUT. Then you select the LUT and you click on Add. For the moment, we're just gonna bring the amount down, we're gonna close it and leave it until little later. So now we have everything set and we can start with the actual editing. First tool we're going to start with is the Develop tool. Anytime I start my edit here in Luminar NEO, I always go there first. So let's start by going that. We're gonna go into the Develop, click on the little arrow, and we're gonna start at the light section. So for this image, as we're creating the nice vintage cinematic look, we actually want to bring the exposure up a little bit. I like to go somewhere around 40 or 50. Don't worry that it doesn't look great at the moment. We just bring in the exposure down so we can then play around with other parts of the image. With the contrast, I always stay between 10 and 20. Let's see what works the best here. I think maybe even somewhere around 25, 26. Looks pretty good. As always, then we jump into the highlights and shadows. With the highlights, we bring them nicely down to somewhere around 70 or 75. And then in the shadows, we go the opposite way. We're going to open them up again to the similar number, somewhere around 70. From here, we're going to move into the blacks and whites. So let's close the light section by clicking on the little arrow and open the blacks and whites. Just a reminder here that if you want to reset any of the sliders, all you need to do is to double click on their name. After that, they reset to 0 or their default value. So looking at the whites and blacks, on the whites, we're going to go quite high to somewhere around 25 or 30. And on the blacks, we're going to be a little bit more careful. We go somewhere around -4 or 5. Again, let's close this section and move into the curves. Here in the curves, I'm really interested only about adding a little bit of the fade. So when I'm adding a fade, I like to create a main point right in the middle and also secure the upper part of the curve by adding another point somewhere around here. After that, I can shift the lower left part of my curve to add a nice fade to my image. Let's see, I think something like this. And to balance it off, you want to add one more point and just bring it a little bit down so we keep some contrast in the image. So this is how you would like the shape of your curve to look by creating something like this. If you want, you can add one more point and balance it even more so. So this is the shape of the curve. After that, we can close the curve and we can move into our color. In the color, you want to add a little bit of warm temperature, but you really want to be careful with it as it's very strong here in Luminar NEO. So you really need to make very fine adjustments here. After that, we jump into our saturation and bring it down a little bit. I think something so it looks a little bit realistic. I would say somewhere around -10. Finally, we can counterbalance it with vibrance by bringing some of the other colors up. And I think we go somewhere around 16 or 15. So again, we can close the color section, and for the moment, that's everything we wanted to do with the Develop tool. So we can apply it to the image by closing it, and we're gonna move to the next tool, which is the Structure AI tool. Again, we're gonna open it by clicking on the little arrow, and with the two sliders, all we're gonna do, we're gonna add a little bit of structure and clarity by shifting the amount to somewhere around 15, 16, maybe 18, let's have a look. I think somewhere around, yeah, between 15 and 20. So 17 sounds like a good number. We're gonna close the tool, apply it to the image, and we're gonna move to the Color tool. Now here in Color tool, we have a bit to do, and specifically in the HSL section. So I'm gonna go nice and slow, don't get overwhelmed, and just follow me step by step. The first part we're gonna adjust is a hue section. So you click on this little drop-down box, you select the hue and start by adjusting the sliders here. I think on the red, we're gonna go just somewhere around 2, just so we get really nice red here. Then we're gonna go into the yellow and we actually gonna bring the yellow down. I think somewhere around 10 or -8, 10, something like that. On the green, we wanna make it a little less green and we're gonna shift it to somewhere around +2. After that, we jump into our blues, and in the blue, we're gonna go to somewhere around -10. So this is with the hue. We adjusted the red, we have adjusted the yellow, green, and blue. After we've done this, we're gonna move to the next section. So we're gonna click on this little drop-down box and click on Saturation. In the saturation, we're gonna start with the red again. So we're gonna push the red a little bit to somewhere around 6. So that way we're adjusting all these lovely uniforms and making it really nice. In the orange, we're gonna actually bring the orange to somewhere around 10 or -9, all of that work. Now with the yellow, I would go down as well to somewhere around -30 or 40. So let's say 37 will work very well for us. With the cyan, we want to bring that up and we're going to go somewhere around 44. And as I can see, I skip over the green. So with the green, I think we're going to bring it down as well. There is a lot of green on that image. So we're going to bring it again somewhere around -20 or even 26. I'm starting to really like what I see. We already done the cyan, so let's move to the blue. Again, bring down the blue a little bit to somewhere around -17. After that, purple magenta, I don't think we need to worry about that. And we can move to the final section of our HSL, which is the luminance. So I hope you're following so far. If you need to rewind it and do it again, don't worry about it, I'll wait here. So now in the luminance, what we're gonna do, starting with the red, let's make it a little bit darker, so -5. Then we move into our orange, which we make just a little bit darker, so somewhere around -2. In the yellow, I would go -1. Then in our green, we really want to make the green much darker, so we go somewhere around -10. In our cyan, we can go somewhere around 29 or 30. Just again, bringing it up. Her dress looks really nice, so let's pop it up. And then we move to the blue, and with the blue, we're gonna go somewhere around +10 or +11. With the purple here, we can really push it to somewhere around +50. So this is it, even with the luminance section in the HSL panel and in our color tool. Once again, we have adjusted the hue, then we have adjusted the saturation, and finally we have adjusted the luminance. So that's about it. Now we can apply the effect to our image, close it, and move on the next tool. The next tool we're going to use is our matte tool. So let's open it up by clicking on the little arrow, and let's make few adjustments here. Starting with the amount, let's go somewhere, let's see what we like, somewhere around maybe 25, 30. I think 30 is looking good. We definitely want to add some fade to it. So let's go somewhere around 15. I think that looks good. Then on the contrast, the 20, I think the 20 looks good. With the vividness, let's just bring it up a little bit to somewhere around -15. Now we are almost finished. We can again apply this tool to our image by clicking on the toolbar. And then we can go to the final tool here, and that's the landscape tool. So we open it up. And what we're gonna do here, we're gonna add some dehaze to it, just to bring some of the colors up and bring back some of the contrast. So the dehaze, we're gonna actually go quite high. And I'm thinking somewhere around, let's have a look, somewhere around 30. So that's looking great as well. So we are really doing very, very well. And we have a final tool to apply, and that's the mood tool. So as you know already, in our choose LUT, when we click on it, it opens up and we have our boho LUT here. So we click on that and it gets applied to our image. As you can see, it's already starting to look exactly like the preset, but what we want to do is maybe push the amount a little bit to make the effect even stronger. So I think somewhere around, what, maybe 60, maybe 55. I think 55 looks very good. Now let's have a look at it before by clicking on the little eye icon, and after, and I really, really love this look, as I think it's very nice, it's everlasting, and you will be able to use it for many other images. As you can see, we are back in our catalog module and our edit is done. Now we can of course try it on some other images. There are multiple ways of how you can do this, so let's have a look at it. First thing you can do is to right click on the image you edited and then go into the adjustments. Here in the adjustments, you can click on copy adjustments and then click on the image where you want to paste the adjustment to. So we're going to select this image, we're going to right click on it again, and we click on adjustments and paste adjustments. It takes a moment and the adjustments get applied to the image. Sometimes what you need to do is to need to click on the image and then go into the edit module to actually see the editing. So this is how the edit would look after we paste the edits from the previous image. Let's have a look at the before and after by going on our eye icon on the bottom of the screen. So this was the original image, and this is with the edit and with the look we created earlier. Now let's go back to our catalog module and again click on our original photo where we created the look, and let's try to synchronize it or copy and paste it to another image. So what I just showed you was to use the right click, adjustment, copy and paste the adjustments. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna select the image, then use the command on control and select another image. And then we're gonna right click on the original image, go into the adjustments and click on synchronize adjustments. Again, it takes a moment and then it gets applied to the image itself. Now you can say the image has been already edited just by looking at it here in catalog module, as it has this little icon in the top left corner. Now to see the edit, again, let's click on the image and let's move into the edit module. As you can see, the look was applied to it already. And again, we can have a look at it before and after. And I think, for example, on this image, it works very well. If for some reason this look doesn't work for you, then don't worry about it. I'm going to show you another look and another effect right now. But for this, we're going to need to jump back into the catalog module and we're going to be working on this image. So first of all, let's reset the edit by right-clicking on it and going into adjustments and revert to original. From here, once we're ready, we click on the edit module and we're going to be doing the editing here. The idea for this next look is going to be based on the simple selective color effect. It's going to work very well on image like this, as we have the red dominant color here, and that always works very well on the selective color edit. So let's start right away. We're going to move into our tools and we're going to be focusing on our toolbar. Again, we're going to start by picking up the tools we're going to use for this edit. First, we're going to use the color tool. So let's right click on it and click on add to favorites. We're going to use the structure AI tool. So same thing, right click on it and click to add to favorites. We're also going to use the matte effect. So we're going to right click on it and add to favorites. And finally, we're also going to use the vignette tool. So right click on it and add to favorites. So those are all the tools we're going to use, and let's start right away. First come first, let's start with the color tool. Here in the color tool, we're going to go into our HSL and we're going to go into our drop-down box and move to saturation. In a saturation, the whole idea is that the whole image is going to be black and white, and the only color that's going to be coming out is the red color. So we're going to leave the red color alone, and then we go into the orange and bring it to -100, yellow, green, and so on until we remove all the other colors. So that's about this. However, looking at the image, we have some parts which are kind of halfway red and they are a little bit distracting, just like the gravel here and so on. So what do we do now? We apply the color effect we just did. So we close it and open it again. And now we're going to go into the saturation and bring it all the way down. So basically we create black and white image. But what we want to do, we want to apply this only to the parts where there was the additional color. So we're going to go into masking. And in the masking, we're going to click on mask actions. In the mask actions, we're going to click on invert. And that will remove the effect from the whole image. And now basically it's going to be applied only where we're going to paint. So we're going to go into our brush tool, make sure that we are on the paint, size we're going to adjust throughout the edit, softness on 100, strength on 100, and let's just paint away the areas where we don't want any color. So starting with the gravel down here. Need to be careful around the actual soldier. So let's have a look at it. I think that looks good. Let's adjust the size. Again, we can zoom in if we want to by using command on Control plus and just gently paint around him. Now we zoom back, adjust the size of the brush and just paint over the other parts of the image, making sure that we didn't leave anything behind. I think something like this looks good. So that's our first effect. What I really like is that it's not only the dress and uniform which stays red, but we also get some of the skin tones in. Let's zoom out and let's apply this effect. But now let's make it a little bit more interesting. We're going to jump into our structure AI tool and really push the amount to make it really nice and defined. So you can see we're getting lots of nice contrast and clarity and texture. So we've done that. And we're going to finish it by going into our vignette tool, choose the subject, and we're going to actually move on the soldier and click on the soldier. So by doing that, by clicking on the choose subject, clicking on the soldier, we have centered the center of the vignette around him. So now when we bring the amount down, you will see that the vignette is basically closing around him. So we're going to do it quite a lot to somewhere around -40. and this will be the final result. To finish it off and make it even more cinematic, we will use the matte tool. Again, we can close our vignette tool and open the matte tool here. What we're gonna do, we're gonna push the amount to somewhere around 40, maybe a little less, somewhere around 30, and definitely step in with some additional fade. So we create something like this, somewhere around 20. Now we can apply it, and finally we can have a look at the before and after. So let's have a look by clicking on a little icon again, before and after. And I'm really happy with what we got. I'm happy with the result, as I think it looks really, really cool. So we are back in our catalog module. We have our edit number 1, edit number 2, and finally we're gonna finish it off by creating a really nice black and white film effect. For this, we're gonna use this image right here. So we click on it to select it and then move into the edit module. As you can see, we have some of the tools in our favorites panel here from the previous edit. So first we're gonna start by removing them. We can just right click on a tool and click on remove to favorites. Again, on all of them, just keep repeating the same thing until your favorites panel is empty. After you remove all the tools, it basically disappears. Now we're gonna select the tools we're gonna be using for this film black and white look. First, of course, we're gonna need the black and white tool. Then we're gonna need the structure AI tool. Then we're gonna need the dramatic tool. Then we're gonna need the matte tool. Then the film grain tool. And finally, the vignette tool. So now we have all the tools ready. So let's start with the edit. Starting with black and white tool. Here it's really simple. We just click on the convert to black and white. And that way we turn the picture into black and white mode. We can apply it by closing it and move to the next tool. Now we want to enhance the image by applying some structure and texture to it. So we're gonna move to our structure AI, click on the little arrow and open it. Here with the amount, we're gonna push it until we see something we like. So I think somewhere around here, it's looking really good. Something somewhere between 35 and 40. After this, we're gonna apply it by closing it and we move to the dramatic tool. Again, we open it with little arrow and push the amount a little bit. So let's see what we like. I think I like this. I really like how we're getting a really nice contrast between the brighter parts and the darker parts. We can push it even further by using the local contrast and get somewhere like this. So far we're doing very well. Let's have a look at the before and after. We can close our dramatic tool and move into our matte tool. So here we're gonna push some amount in to get some nice matte fade in the image. I'm looking at the darker parts where I'm getting a really nice fade, and to help it, we even push some of the fade in by using the fade slider. Again, let's have a look at the before and after with this tool. Once we're happy with it, we just click on the tool so we can apply it to the image. After this, it wouldn't be a film look if we wouldn't add some film grain. Let's open the tool, and here inside of the film grain, we're just gonna use the simple amount slider and add some nice film grain to our image. Now, initially, when I push the slider, it looks like there is a lot. However, when I let go, it disappears and it really adjusts to what we like. I think somewhere between 25 and 30 works very well. So let's pick the middle point, 25. Now to finish it off, we can close the film grain and we're gonna finish it by a simple vignette. We click on the vignette tool and we're gonna leave the subject alone. We want it in the center of the image and just bring the amount down until we see something we like. So I think somewhere around 40 looks really, really good. So there you have it. This is our film black and white look. Let's have a look at the before and after, and I think it looks very, very cool. Now, while we're here, I have one more bonus look for you. And the reason why we're gonna do it now is because we're gonna build on what we just did by simply turning it to little sepia black and white film look. How are we gonna do this? We're gonna leave the edits we already done. We're gonna close the vignette tool. And all we're gonna use for this is the lovely toning tool in our creative tools. We're gonna open this tool. Let's make it nice and visible. And we're gonna start by adjusting the shadows. But before we're gonna do that, what we wanna do, we wanna push the amount all the way to 100. Once again, making sure that we are on the shadows and going into saturation. In our shadows, let's push the saturation to somewhere around 40 or let's say 44. And then in the hue, we're gonna push it somewhere where we like to get the nice sepia color. I think somewhere around 40. So that's the shadows. Now we can move into the highlights. And in the highlights, again, we're gonna bring our saturation to somewhere between 30 and 40. And in the hue, let's see where we're gonna go to make it nice and sepia-like. It's really up to you if you want it more brown or more yellow. I think I prefer when it's a little bit more brown, so somewhere around here. Now you can play around with the effect by using the amount slider and see what you like the most. I like to have it somewhere around 60, as I don't want it to be completely colored. I just want a little bit of toning to the image. So maybe something like this. Let's have a look at the before the toning and after. So maybe push it to 60. Again, before and after. And just like that, we have one more additional bonus look for your Jubilee special looks. And for the last time today, we are back in our catalog module where we are looking at what we created today. First, we went ahead and created this lovely vintage cinematic look on the image of the Queen. Then we created very nice dramatic selective color look. And finally, we created very nice black and white film look, and then we turn it into this sepia film look. So what you can do now, you have 4 presets that creating all these looks if you want to speed up the processing, or you can go ahead, create these looks and save them by yourself into your presets. So let's pick one of the images and try the looks on them. So let's pick this image. So we select it and then we go into our presets module. In the presets module, we can try the preset number 1, which will create the lovely cinematic vintage look. I really like it. I think it's very, very cool and it's something a little bit different. Then the preset number 2 is the selective colored look, which looks very nice on the flag. However, again, just like in the tutorial, you will need to do a little bit of additional editing on some other parts of the image, just like the road here. The effect and look number 3 was the black and white film look, which looks really cool on this image. And finally, don't forget about our bonus sepia look, which is gonna look also very, very cool, almost like from an old movie. Now to finish this tutorial, I promise you that I'm gonna show you how you can install your bonus presets into Luminar NEO. Well, it's really simple. So we need to come out of this and we're gonna be looking at the same screen. If you already created some presets, you will have this folder here called My Presets. If you haven't created presets before, you need to go ahead and go into Edit module, then create any presets you want. So any adjustments you do, it doesn't matter, just jump into Develop, then add a little bit of exposure, and from there you need to go into the actions, click on Save Presets, and that will bring you into your presets menu, and here you just need to create any presets, so just call it Test. Once you're happy with it, you hit Enter, and you will have your first preset here called Test. So when I go back to presets, you will now have the same folder as me called My Presets. You will click on that, and you will have your test preset here. At the end of the preset, you have these 3 little dots. You click on them, and the option here is called Show in Finder. So that way, we get a window with where the presets are located. So let's make this a little smaller and bring the window over. So this is how it looks. This is what opens. And as you can see, we see the structure here. We have the users and we have the presets here. So again, we have the presets, users, and the presets here. And all you need to do now is to bring the folder in where you downloaded your presets from our sample files. So let's do that. Now you have your sample pictures, and inside you have the tools folder, and then you have the CP Jubilee's presets. You open that and you select these 4 folders. Don't select the Jubilee presets. Select the folders inside, 4 folders. You right click on them and click on copy, or use Command or Control C. And then you go back to your presets and users and you paste them inside of the users folder. So you just click on Command or Control V. Now it's not going to work for me because I already have them installed. However, that's what you do. Once you finish with this, you need to go back to Luminar NEO. You need to close Luminar NEO, open it, and your preset's going to be ready in your My Presets folder. Now don't forget that if you would like to get additional presets for your Luminar NEO, we have the great Luminar NEO Power Bundle. It includes not only 100 new presets, but also 750 additional elements. Everything like overlays, sky objects, LUTs, skies, everything you can imagine. So definitely check it out. There is a link in the description, and you can also find them on our website, cleverphotographer.com. And now it's time to get your gift. If you want to get access to our Luminar NEO shortcut cheat sheet, all you need to do is to head to our website, cleverphotographer.com/luminargift. And there you can download the cheat sheet and start to use it right away. And there you have it. So I hope you had fun, and I hope you learned something new. If you did, please make sure that you like, comment and share our video. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel so we can keep creating content like this. For today, thank you very much for watching. My name was Jakub, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.